Hello everybody, this is Heri, guitar player of Týr, and I am in Prague, Czechia. We're back here with the third podcast on the Týr YouTube channel.
Hey guys, this is Tad. I'm the drummer of Týr. Oh, Jesus, Gunnar, what the hell? Sorry. So, I'm the drummer and I'm greeting everybody from Budapest. Hello there. And Guns, are you back in Russia? I don't think so.
Oh shit, yeah.
There's a cat on your head.
Hi! I'm the bass player in Týr. It's fantastic, isn't it? And I'm apparently called Gunnar. Or Guns. Or Gunnar. You know. Who knows? That's me. And I'm placed here in the Faroe Islands. It's raining all day long, but it's lovely. So, hello to you.
Where did you get that shapka?
Moscow.
You did? It's very nice looking. Is it real? Is it made of polar fox?
No, it's a synthetic polar fox. I don't know.
Maybe they first reared synthetic polar foxes and then made synthetic shapkas from that.
Probably.
Probably not. Anyway, this is the third episode, and we are trying to release a podcast on the 7th and 22nd of every month. And if you subscribe to our YouTube channel, YouTube will notify you every time we release something. Hit the notification bell and like this video, share it everywhere you think people might like it. And if you want early access to these videos by about 1 week, you can support us on patreon.com/Týrband. And thanks, of course, to all those who already support us there. One thing I'd like to mention before we get started with this podcast is that the Australian tour dates were successfully re-announced. Yes! And it's been postponed by an entire year. And the dates at the moment are in 2021, and they are in October, 19th in Brisbane, 20th in Canberra, 22nd in Sydney, 24th in Melbourne, and 25th of October 2021 in Adelaide. You can get your tickets at overdrivetouring.com. So now that's out of the way. Of course, I was going to mention a certain virus, but let's not get into that. This is what we have to aim for.
There's a virus?
What?
Where?
No, I didn't
right
leave
behind you.
I didn't leave my flats in March. Well, I guess that's just the regular.
Like not even out the door?
Well, yes, of course I did.
You've forgotten what color the outside of your front door is.
Actually, I never noticed that. I mean, it's a door colored thingy, you know, like. But seriously, I mean, it's really it can be quite stressful. I mean, especially since now the regulations are getting stricter again here in Central Europe as well. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I was checking some musicians and bands Facebook and Instagram posts in the last couple of days, and I mean, most of them, you know, they are like abiding and just frustrated to some extent, of course, understandably, but accept the situation, as do we as well. I mean, we all are just thinking about how to get through this hell.
Yeah.
But some are a bit more, I don't know, a bit more angry about the whole situation. And hey, cheers, Gunnar. And some were really not okay with all the newest regulations, either in Europe or in the US, for example. And I started to think about how political should a band or a musician in these cases get, or how is it even our thing to do that? I mean, we have quite a decent exposure, you know, and so with that kind of exposure comes responsibility. And if you are telling people to, you know, just don't think about these regulations at all and just live your life as before March 2020, I think that might not be really I mean, your role as a musician, as a rock or metal musician. How are you guys seeing that?
I think I agree with you. I can think of, I haven't seen many people, but I can think of, for example, Ted Nugent, I think, in the US is
Right.
very much against any of these regulations. But he has a lot of very strong political opinions. And of course, he's free to do all of that as he likes, but he's not a medical expert of any kind, certainly not in viral infections. So I think people will know mostly to take musicians' opinions as a private person's opinion. But you're right, you might have some persuasion power just from the fact that you are a famous musician.
Right.
And honestly, we've been forced in this band into some political comments and mostly to distance ourselves from any politics, actually, which I think is the right thing. This is not this. We didn't make this band for any political statement, and we didn't try to get into any kind of politics. It's folklore, and it should be and modern heavy metal. It should be completely free of any politics. Although I must say, they tend to be left-leaning opinions from any artist, not just musicians. As in being a bit more rebellious, a bit more anti-establishment, a bit more live and let live kind of opinions. So I'm not surprised by any musicians or famous people coming out against this, but it's their right. I, as a band member myself, would definitely avoid that.
Mm-hmm. Gunnar, what do you think?
I don't get into politics at all. If I would get into politics, I would be shot right there on the spot. Believe me.
Yeah. No, but it's very interesting what you said, Heri, that we as a band were forced into some kind of statements, and I think that comes with the as soon as a band goes into some kind of cultural direction, cultural on a national scale, like for one kind of country, or the cultural background of a country, and tries to bring those ideas, strictly only cultural ideas, into their music, into their lyrics, it starts to get suspicious for some people, or some
yes we've seen that
minorities, even like I mean societal minorities, and I think I'm not really sure about if bands are really if they should be made to make these statements like no, we're not Nazis. I mean, we know about what we're talking about here. So like using the runes here or anything, and I think it's getting a bit worse.
It definitely is.
Nowadays.
Like one thing that comes to mind right now is there's the online catalog of everything metal. It's called the Metal Archives.
Yeah.
They have some Latin sounding name also. I'm not sure which one they use.
Some metal encyclopedia or something like that.
Metallicum Encyclopedium something. I don't remember. Anyway,
I know.
They have almost everything there. Like all band members, all bands, all releases. And we were asked by someone who I'm not sure if they worked for this website or if it was someone collaborating with them. But if you go there, you can see this band has reported they're against hate. And I answered yes to that, of course. It's on our profile there as well.
Against hate, like
hate,
that.
Yes.
Okay.
So if you were to make if you were to make take for example, I don't know, Varg Vikernes or some crazy Nazi not murderous psychopath. I mean, I don't think he would agree to that. So they have some political agenda by making their bands, and there are Nazi bands, unfortunately, and they've used some of the imagery and subjects that we use as well. But here we are, having to write a song like "Shadow of the Swastika" and announce publicly that we are against hate, whatever that means. I mean. So it's more common and it's more pressing on individual band members to make such statements. I'd rather not have to get into that subject at all.
Exactly,
it's going the wrong way when you have to do that.
And I mean, I think it's really ridiculous when people say, well, you're using runes, and I mean Nazis used the runes, and there were runes very common in the Third Reich. But I mean, it's just like, well, yes, Nazis also wore and are still wearing pants. So you understand? I mean, it's ridiculous
yes.
to do those parallels. I mean, so you're wearing pants. Aren't you a Nazi by any chance?
These people aren't too sophisticated about things like that. So it's completely unpredictable where it's going to come from next.
It is.
What the next thing is going to be. But I think we as we are in the entertainment business, and we're not historians, we're not politicians. This is entertainment, and that's it. And to the degree that we can, I think we should stay out of politics.
Right. I think so too.
And even if you do get into politics, there's no guarantee that even the three of us have the same political opinions. Almost certainly not. So.
I can guarantee that.
Yeah, I think so. But so using a band for a political aim, a band that was not made for a political aim, is just never going to work. So no politics here, and I would suggest people to stay out of commenting publicly on things they absolutely do not understand when they have a large crowd of fans that will listen to them.
I agree.
It's fine to have an opinion. But let the politicians be the politicians. So, simple as that.
Yeah. Vote.
Yes,
vote. This has nothing to do with the U.S. election.
Nope.
Just in general.
You can vote to nobody. But at least go and vote.
Blank, yes.
Yeah, blank. So.
Anyway. I would just want to mention a very non-political band.
What now?
This is an LP. See my wonderful girlfriend here on the cover.
That's very politically incorrect of you to do that
if you see, I think my face is on here somewhere. No, actually, it's there. If you can make out my face there in the background somewhere. No, it's not really visible.
That's Victory's face. Come on, dude.
I'm somewhere in the background. They faded me out to make the cover nicer. This LP is out these days. It's out on the Metal Blade Records, and I'm going to use all my time in this podcast to shamelessly self-promote. The band is called Surma, S-U-R-M-A. You can see that here. The album is called The Light Within, and it comes among other things in this. It's released, of course, as a CD and an LP with this wonderful purple color.
The light with
beautiful.
Sounds very religious. Did you certainly start to believe now?
This is a Christian album. No, just kidding. I was extremely not just anti-religious, but anti-Christian when we started the band Týr, and you can probably see that opinion in some of the lyrics. But these days I tend to be more neutral. So there's nothing anti-religious in the recent Týr albums, or on this one for that matter. So there's very nice artwork, and holding an LP really brings back memories, because I remember listening to some LPs when I was younger. I never got quite late into the CD thing. I went almost directly from CDs to MP3s. And I'll just remind everyone, I will provide a direct link to our official YouTube channel and to some of our songs on YouTube here in the upper right corner. I always mix this up. I think this is the upper right corner for people who are watching, and they will find all the Surma material they can wish for. And I would like to ask everybody to go to surma.band/merch and see if you can find something cool there, and they help us out by buying some merch. That's as much time as I will spend on that. And we were going to have a tour with Surma. It was planned, supporting some other bands, but of course it's all off by now, and I had to really look forward to getting on tour and having some funny experiences with that. So all we can do now is reminisce about all the old experiences. I'm not sure if you have any, Thaddeus or Gunnar, maybe.
I think Gunnar has been longer in this band than me, so let's listen to him.
Oh, well, of course I have. The stories are many, but it's hard to remember it all.
Some story maybe where you did something stupid.
That could be overwhelming, I guess. Well, I do remember this. Sorry, Poland, but this is you guys again.
Oh, Poland again. We love Poland.
Yes.
It's great to tour there
usually. Fun moments in Poland. No, I remember. I don't remember the venue or where this was, but I remember it was in Poland. I think the same day we got the whole the records for ourselves from Metal Blade. It was the Valkyrie album.
Mm-hmm.
It came out.
So 13.
Yeah,
7 years ago. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I remember we were playing. It's not a big club, small club, very nice place actually. So we were playing, and it was a great time. People had a lot of fun. And usually, what I do is on the song Raman Henonke, I used to take a walk out to the audience and play in between the audience.
Mm-hmm.
During the song. So I was running out and probably had something to drink, I don't know. I was feeling happy. So I ran out to the audience and I was playing with the audience in every room. It went really well. And on the way back, I turned really hard, did this really ballet kind of thing. And there was this girl serving beer for everyone, and I hit her. I smashed her down. It was like the perfect thing, She was out, and there was glass and beer everywhere.
Oh, shit.
And
you knocked her down, like unconscious?
No, not unconscious.
Okay,
I
good.
knocked her down.
Oh.
I hit her pretty good.
Man. Oh.
And I have never felt so bad in my life, I think. I mean, holy shit, it feels terrible.
We're officially sorry for this.
And so I think I helped her up, but then again I had to continue playing.
Yeah.
So I went on stage then, did the show, felt really, really terrible. First thing I could think of was going down and find this girl to say sorry, and all was fine. I gave her a new album and T-shirts and something else, and all was good. She took it really, really well. But oh man,
that must have... Okay, so this was not the fault of anyone in Poland or Poland in any way. It's just completely by accident happened in Poland.
Completely, she was right behind me. So I didn't see her at all, and I did this fancy turn and gone. And it's actually not the first time I've hit somebody with a bass. Very early on in the band, me and Heri, the first band we had, we did a concert, and I hit a guy's nose on front of the stage. He got a nosebleed out of it. Again, actually, it's because the bass is so fucking huge.
Yes, it is quite big, and you tend to jump around quite happily, so accidents can happen.
Yes,
but
unfortunately,
even I have two stories regarding very similar cases of this. Once well, both were with my former band, and one of those happened in a club, I think in a city called Miskolc, and in Hungary, and we were just between two songs, and I mean the club was fairly small, but there were like 150 people there, so it was quite crowded for the club. And our singer was just talking about the next song, so there was just a small pause, so everybody had some time to, take their breaths and so on. And just before we started the song, we saw that a guy was coming through the crowd with with like 5 glasses of beer balancing just above his head. And the song started and everybody went crazy. I mean, like headbanging momentarily, and he was just disappearing with all the beer falling onto his head. He was disappearing in the crowd, like within 2 seconds, like whoop, gone.
I mean, these venues are like combined, bars and music venues, and you have to be careful working at a place like that.
Yes.
And how come you can order beer, across a wild crowd? You should. People should go get their own beer at the bar.
That was
walking
actually
around serving people in a mosh pit. There's a guy in the mosh pit who wants 2 beers. I mean, what the hell?
No. You're
Here you are. Here you are. Here you are.
You're totally right. No. But this guy was actually he was a guest. He was not working there. He just.
I see.
He just got so many beers that he was unable
this
to
is more
carry
relevant
them away.
for Gunnar's story then.
Yeah. And the other thing was, it was at Siget Festival. That was huge music festival, maybe one of the biggest in Europe, I think. And back in the day, they had some quite nice rock and metal stages as well. And we were playing that was like in 2007, maybe 2008, 9, whatever. It was a long time ago, and we were playing. The whole tent was almost full, like several thousand people, and we just finished the show. Everybody was happy. We were happy. The crowd was happy, and I came to the front of the stage. Finally standing, and yay, okay, we had a great show, and I was throwing in one of my drumsticks into the crowd, and some guys like in the 15th row or anywhere, they were just jumping up, but they didn't catch the drumstick, but it fell behind them right into the eye of a guy who was just looking up. What's happening? What's happening? And I just saw him holding his eye and disappearing into the crowd as well. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna leave now. Bye. So I hope you didn't lose your eye, man. I'm very, very sorry.
Oh shit. Well, this happens.
Yeah.
Anyway, cool. I hope our next tours will be not be as accident prone as some of our past tours have.
Anyway, I think they will all be.
Accidents.
So what
will
about
happen.
you here? Any good one? Oh.
Yeah,
hey?
plenty of funny stories. I don't want to embarrass people who aren't present. So there's a lot of embarrassment and a lot of funny stories. And no, I think I'll leave it for some other time. We have a lot of questions this time from
Yes, let's get on.
From people, and these questions were all put directly to the second podcast that we released 2 weeks ago. And here's, for example, Becky Arambulo asks, if I'm not mistaken, when you guys were producing the Hill, I guess she means the Hill album, you periodically shared at what production stage you were on. It was very interesting and insightful seeing the process from pre-recording to a full album and mini tour here in the US with Demons and Wizards. I am curious to know for each of you what part of the production process is your strongest and weakest, and how does your strength help evaluate the music creation process? Sorry, how does your strength help elevate the music creation process? Yeah, we have had this process sheet. I did it for myself actually to keep track of all the tasks because I realized I was extremely bad at predicting how long it would take to make these albums. So I just finally took all the tasks, put them in like a matrix sheet, and made an estimation now about how long each task would take, and then so I could see how many days of work were left on the album. And it's quite precise, especially after you've done it once. You can adjust the time everything takes to some more precise numbers. And we started sharing those. I think we did that for Valkyria too. I'm not sure, but at least we did it for the Hill album, definitely. And I did it also for the Surma album. And just so people can see that I'm not just sitting, we're not just sitting there on our lazy asses trying to pull ourselves together to make the album. And anyway, as for the production or creation part of the album, I think what I really love doing, I'm not sure I'm that good at it, but what really fills me with a sense of meaningfulness is to come up with the basic stuff and write the actual melodies, harmonies, chord progressions, everything. After that, things get a little mechanical for me. It just I have 2 or 3 specific ways of putting harmonies together, and it might get a bit boring actually for me. I was thinking that lately because I might need to come up with some other ways of doing it. So the actual creation itself and having the feeling that you came up with something good is what's best for me. And honestly, I wouldn't even dare to speculate how good I am at each of the things because I would generally leave that up to other people.
Yes, silence.
How about yourselves, gentlemen?
I must say, in that process of writing Hill, what I enjoyed the most was that actually, well, me and Heri more or less made that album, I guess, happen. I enjoy to be the one to kickstart something, which is when you run into what do you say? You don't know where to go from here.
Mm-hmm.
I love to come up with ideas to proceed, because that usually kickstarts Hera's memory to do something. Exactly, because you sometimes need to be 2 guys to do these things.
We did that a few times, yes.
That means a lot to me to be to get the process going. I don't care so much about it's going to be my idea. That's not important. The important thing is to be the one who pushes some new ideas into the picture so we can get on creating. And that is very fulfilling at the end when you actually came up with something and it turns into something beautiful. And no matter if I did the melody on somebody else, at least I pushed it the right direction. That feels great. And I think it's a really great way to work on music, is to simply spit ideas into the pot and say, how about doing something like this?
It's quite often that I have the feeling, I have a song and I think, it's not really the best, and I'm not really sure. And we were both sitting there listening to the full files on Guitar Pro mostly. And Gunnar said something, no, try this, some fabulation. I never, in 1,000 years come up with the same idea. So it's really valuable to just sit there, listen through the full material that you have, and find the weak spots, make them stronger. For each song, every weak spot that you can find.
Yeah,
could be lofty, unspecific ideas. Could be something very specific. Could be anything, and it just generally makes the whole album better.
Yes.
And the funny thing is that usually we sit and you have something in your head, and it's not something you just bring out on a guitar or bass or something. So you very cautiously goes over and mime it, and something like, do you know what I mean? Oh, yes!
The problem is sometimes getting something specific out of fluffy idea. Fluffy ideas are not usually very helpful because in the end you have to play something specific. You're not going to make a fluffy turn here or there, you know.
No.
So some ideas come without specific things attached, and then you have to work on getting it down to specifics, even though the guy who has the idea doesn't have the specifics, but it could still be, you know, the right thing.
Still, the direction can be the right one, you know, because
exactly.
Usually the you know, when the biggest problem is when your own idea only works until a certain point, you know, and then it stops, and you're just stuck. That's the best word for it. I mean, you just don't know how to proceed. And then if somebody within the band just says, well, just try this and this after that, and really it's like, oh my god, like an epiphany, you know, just you wouldn't have thought about that
exactly,
never. And that's because it's until that point, that melody or that half of a song is your idea, and it's your very subjective and personal creation. But the others, or we're just experiencing it on a more objective level, and I think that gives us the distance to add more and other or newer ideas to that very one. So I mean I loved to write with my former band. I mean in the very early years, like in 2003-4, we were writing songs together while we were jamming, and those first 3 or 4 albums, they were like almost all written in this like this kind of production, and I really enjoyed that because you always brought your own self into that, no matter who came up with the first idea. Yeah.
Let's get. We're going to go seriously over time on this episode. Right. I'm afraid. Let's get to the next question. Týrcast8 asks on YouTube, how is the search for a new guitar player? How's the search for a new guitar player going? It's going. I would not mention any names at this point, but we have talked to one guy, me and Gunnar. We had interest from several guys. I think 4 or 5 guitarists wrote to us. And it would be, in any case, however things turn out, it would not be impossible to find a replacement guitar player in the future. But we decided to give 1 or 2 guys a chance. And we talked to a guy in the Faroes not so long ago, Gunnar and I. And as soon as we have a tour, we'll see. Might be a long time, but that's the plan at least. You want to say anything about that, Gunnar?
No.
We're not
released it out loud.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that by next tour. What happened here? Oh, sorry, I should have put that one off. Time's up. Anyway, we have a lot of more questions. We have 4 more questions here.
Let's continue.
PRS Grind asks on YouTube, Heri, songs like The Edge, Wings of Time, Brennewood, and Nation are very interesting to hear because you sing in 2 languages on the same song. Do you have plans to write in the future using lyrics of 2 or more languages? Thank you. Yes, I definitely do. There's always been mostly English on 2 albums, except maybe Land. It's maybe mostly Scandinavian languages, mostly Faroese. But all other albums have had, I think on average, 2 non-English songs, and then the rest 8, 10 or 12 songs in English. And that's going to be the same for the future. A song here and there in Faroese, or some old Danish, or whatever we find to use. The main reason songs are not in English is that the lyrics are traditional and mostly Faroese traditional, and that'll be the case also on the next album. Well, now, what we did on The Edge was I wrote a Faroese chorus for an English song, and I haven't done that. Yeah, maybe I have once or twice since. Can't remember the details. And no, I haven't mixed language like that, I think, ever since. It worked well back then, but it's not something I've attempted again. Whatever I do in the future, I mean, it's impossible to speculate right now. So could happen, could not. Next question, unless you gentlemen have some comments about the languages. I'm guessing not. Sammy Fossil asks, also on YouTube, I'm curious, do any of you relate personally to a Týr song? Currently, I'm relating to Valkyria.
I do. I actually, well, the first two songs I ever learned for Týr was Lady of the Slain and Sinclair's. And I mean, those are actually two very different songs. So I mean, Lady of the Slain is something really straightforward, heavy metal, fast stuff, something I grew up with. And Sinclair's was I mean, the first time I listened to it, I was like, yeah. I mean, this is not going to be hard. But actually, it took me quite a long time till I got it right because of the rhythm changes, and it has quite a difficult notation here and there. And but I think those two songs are still quite important for me because that was the beginning for me in Týr and with Týr. And on a more personal note, Evening Star is very important for me because it's, well, the whole longing for a place to call home and the wish to be or to get back home is something I can very much relate to because we were moving around within Europe when I was a kid a lot. So yeah, I think these three songs for me.
Gunnar?
I don't know. Only thing that comes up in my mind is because I'm an Iron Maiden fan, is Fire and Flame and Ramon and Unke, mostly because of the gallop that playing, and that's I always like that gallop kind of thing. It's kind of nice, and it's all back to Iron Maiden and Steve
Back
Harris.
to the roots, yeah.
Yeah, it's back to the roots, so that's kind of nice. But other than that, I don't think I relate as such.
I guess I relate to all the songs since they were most of them more or less my creations, and maybe mostly lyrics because I find lyrics very hard to write, especially in Faroese. So when I wrote something in Faroese that I think is okay, I tend to be very, very happy with that, and that would be songs like Fana Busha Brandalio, for example, on Valkyria. But it would be hard to take any one song. Of course, there are some songs I think now we could have done that a lot better, but and it changes over time too. You know what I put emphasis on lyrics or music or melodies. From the last album, Hel, for example, I was very satisfied myself with King of Time. Not necessarily it's the best song on the album, but what I was aiming for, I think, came out perfectly. And then this question is, was I aiming for the right thing? But anyway, that I was very satisfied with it, and I think I would mention those two songs. Next question. Sardonic Wrath asks on YouTube, I always thought the song Excavation, one of your most underrated songs in my opinion, resembled Regnsmyr quite a lot, even if the songs are very different also. Did you reuse some parts of the melodies when you made Regnsmýr? Is it a coincidence or is this just in my head? No matter what the answer is, I think both songs are superb. Thank you. It's actually the same melody. It's the Faroese folk melody to Regnsmýr, and I used it as the intro and I think the midtro or outro also in Excavation. It's precisely the same melody, and on the second album, Eric the Red, where it's used closer to the original as Regnsmýr. Not completely, but quite close. So it is the same melody, and it's not just in your head. And that answers that. Last question. Lubomir Harshani asks on YouTube, have you ever written a song you have grown to dislike sooner or later, just like Cobain hated Smells Like Teen Spirit, Plant hated Stairways, etc.? It would be interesting to know. Thaddeus, have you ever?
Well, I mean, we had some songs with my former band in the early years. Well, you know, the most well-known songs, and those songs you always had to play no matter what. Thongs, yes, kitchen thongs. And of course, sooner or later, I mean, after playing particular songs for the 400th time, it just really weighs on you. I mean, it gets a bit boring. But you know, actually, I couldn't say. I mean, I did disagree with some of the ideas we had during the years, and I was like, okay, this is never gonna be one of my favorites. But it's just, you know, it's if most of the band is voting for keeping that melody or that idea, then you just have to settle with it. So,
Gunnar,
Well,
you look lost in thought.
No, I was
Lay it
thinking
on
of,
me, man.
only thing I can come to think of that I didn't write any of it, but songs that I would think they're not bad in any kind of sense. They're just tedious, which is songs like Ormelenche, which everyone's likes. And the reason for it being tedious is because it's a whole long repeat. You play the same thing over and over and over and over again, and we have a few songs who are like that, and they're all based on Faroese, what you call it, kvæ.
Yeah, ballads.
Ballads, and they are very tedious. But the initial song is really good. It's just the repeat gets boring after a while. So unfortunately,
I used to. Yeah, go ahead.
I know the people love those songs, and I do understand why. So
Yeah, I used to hate to play those songs too. All of them that we had to play every show. Armor Lancha, Hail to the Hammer, later Hold the Hidden Hammer High. Maybe also songs like Blood of Heroes, you know, Mare of My Night, Sinclair's Wizard, what everybody wants to hear every show. But I changed my mind on that, and I changed my mindset also, because I mean, we're trying to make a music career, and if we have a hit or anything close to a hit, you know, we're going to have to play it until we are dead and buried. So we better get used to it, or this is going to drive us crazy.
Yeah.
And you see the stories of bands like, well, he mentioned here Cobain, but I know nothing about his relationship to his songs. I think he had a troubled relationship to everything. But Robert Plant, for example, with Stairway to Heaven, and I can think of, for example, Jimi Hendrix at the end of his career. He was very, very disappointed that he had to play some specific songs every show, and he wanted to play new songs. It's just the wrong attitude. You collect these songs throughout your entire career. there are most popular songs from each album that you're going to have to play for the rest of your entire career, and you better get used to it. So what I do now is, you have to imagine some people are there hearing the song for the first time, maybe only the second or third time live in their entire lives, and you just have to imagine what it's like for them to hear the song for the first time. You see their excitement and their happiness in the front row, and maybe much further back also, and just kind of take part in their experience with it. And that's the way to get over this, because this is going to happen to anyone who tries to make a long career in music. Now, there's also a fact that if a song is very, very easy to play, that's just not going to entertain you as a musician. You have to find something else about it. Some of the songs, I can imagine, specifically the bass line in Armelanche is just, it's very easy, it's very repetitive, and there's nothing, you can almost fall asleep while playing it.
That doesn't matter to me that much, because I believe very much in serving the song, and if I serve the song right, I'm extremely happy with it. And I, as I said, the song is good. It's just very long.
Yes.
That's all it is.
First, it's repetitive in itself, and secondly, it's repetitive that we have to play it every evening.
No, I don't mind about playing this song every evening. I really don't. But to begin with, I found it very tedious.
I did.
But I think I have the same attitude as you. You have to pretend that this is the first time they hear the song live, and again, it's not bad songs. It's just, they're just long.
Exactly, and we've heard them before.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, that was the last question we had to answer here. I hope you all think that your questions were answered properly. And if anyone out there has more questions, please put them in the comments to this video or wherever you happen to see this video, and we will answer them as best we can in the next podcast. Unless you have more to add, I will just read the ending notes.
Read away.
Oh, no, read away.
I'd like everybody to follow us on Instagram, where we are Týr_official, and follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, where we are Týrband. You can trace us on bandsintown.com/Týr. Bands in Town is a service that notifies you when we play in your area. It happens every now and then we play somewhere, and after we've played there, people write, "I didn't know you were coming to my city. How the hell did I miss that?" So Bands in Town is the way to not find yourself in that awkward situation. You can listen to our music on Amazon Music, Napster, Tidal, Apple Music, or Deezer, or any similar services. I just wanted to remind fellow musicians, that it may be a good idea to provide a direct link to Amazon Music, because apparently they are the service that pays by far the most for streaming to musicians. And of course, if you're a fan of many bands and you're listening to music online, it might be a good idea to change to Amazon Music from wherever you are listening at the moment, because that might be more expensive and a bit more and a bit of a hassle to switch platforms, but that will help the artists, at least, if you're interested in that. You can also go to our website, Týr.fo, and at the bottom of the front page, you can sign up for the Týr newsletter. We will let you know whenever there's new news and anything important to tell about Týr. And you can also get some merch there if you want to look good and hang with the cool kids while looking good. So you can also send your questions to our official email, which is Týr@Týr.fo, or if you have any comment or whatever you have. So unless you gentlemen have more comments, I will say thank you for listening, and I hope to see you back here in 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Bye.
Cheers.
Adios.